live in the class in a few hours, or in like an hour and a half. But I just wanted to give people an opportunity to like, hey, your story is pretty cool, and just get your perspective on the class and stuff. So introduce yourself, kind of what got you here, and like what made you join in the class, and like kind of like what's been going on since then.
Okay. So if anybody's here from the last Facebook Live, I want to say, well, sorry, IG Live, I'll say hi. But
most people are not.
Oh, see, I got to start from the beginning. So first name Aaron, last name Bias. I tell y'all this, I hate introducing myself like that. That's just, I've been in sales for so long. That's just how I introduce myself now. But I met Gamal at the BYOB event that was in Memorial Day weekend in Washington, D.C. Kind of taught us about some hacks that we could do right there to boost ourselves up. Unfortunately, trying to put the story in good terms. Unfortunately, a couple months later, I found myself being unemployed.
Can you speak up a little bit too?
Yeah, I can. So
yeah, or turn up your volume. You sound a little bit low.
Let me see. Let me turn it up. Is that better?
Yep.
Okay. So unfortunately, I found myself getting let go by my job. That happened roughly about, let's say 2 to 4 months ago. So I remember reaching out to Gamal. I said, hey, Gamal, I think the first message was like, hey, man, I really need some help to try to find out what to do. I don't really know what I want to do, but I remember that when we were at the BYOB event, I remember your energy and things of that nature, and I wanted to reach out and see what you could help me out with. So he was definitely straight up front with me. He was like, hey, look, man, you know, go on my website, make a 30-minute call. We'll have a quick conversation. And if I can help you, I can help you. If I can't help you, but I'm at least point you into some direction so I can, you know, so you can at least get your feet up under you. So I wound up talking to him. He mentioned to me about the social media agency side of things. And I was like, man, I thought that was kind of too overpacked in a sense. So we had that talk. He said, no, man, he says, if you find yourself a niche, it can actually be very lucrative. So I remember going there, I did a lot of research. I had to look at myself and say, for the first time in my life, it's about what I want to do, right? Like I could be in any industry that I want to be in, right? What am I going to put my name and my backing behind? So
was this your first time starting a business?
Yes, I had little businesses as a kid, but not nothing that was like, oh, this is this is major. It depends on how much I want to hustle and things of that nature.
Dope. So been in corporate and sales, got let go from your job. We happened to run into each other around the same time, and you decided to possibly give me some of your hard-earned cash to learn some new skills.
Yes. Yeah. He mentioned something to me that kind of touched me, and I'll tell that to anybody that's on the call right now, right? Like, you have 2 ways to learn, right? The first way is you can spend years and years of learning this, right? And then there's going to be slow, there's going to be some hurtful points, there's going to be some positive points in the same way. Or 2, if you got a little bit of money, or you willing to build a bridge and have a service that you can trade, if you put a little bit of time, a little bit of money into it, you're getting everything from him directly. So you're getting proven tips that work instead of like, oh, let me try it this way, it failed, and now let me try to redo this. And plus, while you're doing that, if you're trying to make money at it at the same time, you're damaging your brain, because people are going to be like, nah, man, I dealt with him before. He made my sales go down. He don't know what he's talking about. So,
got you. So you had bought, you invested in something in the social media MBA, and you bought like another program too. And I think the other program was actually more expensive too, probably.
Yes.
And so I personally invest thousands of dollars in educating. I think like your personal income always grows equally to your personal development, right? This is something I've thought. And I've always been on the second part of, I could spend 6 months learning something, figure it out, making mistakes along the way, or I can learn off of someone else and avoid some of those mistakes. So for those of you who don't know my story, I was trying to launch a business for like 2 years, found no success, linked up with a mentor, and in the first 90 days, I made $107K. At that moment, I became a fan of investing in personal development. I saw night and day how what I was doing by myself versus with some like proven direction could help me out. And so you, like, the good thing I like about you is you're willing to like learn. You don't think you're so smart or so experienced that you're not willing to be like taught. And so you have like a teachability index. Like you set all your pride apart and like, look, I could learn a couple of things from these people. and you decided to learn from me and learn from someone else, which is good. Because like people deciding to invest in this isn't like, should I learn from them all? It's more like, does he know something that I don't know that it could be useful, right? And
Yep.
so that's a decision that you made with me and someone else. So talk to me about the programs, because I'm busy. I don't have a lot of time. Our program isn't set up to like give you a bunch of info. It's structured opposite to a lot of programs. So can you talk about like what the differences are, if you see any difference?
Yes, it's a huge difference, right? Like, and I tell people, it's completely off of learning styles, but the social media MBA, I think it's for all learning styles, right? Because first, it doesn't give you the information too fast that when they push it out to you, you just, some programs, like the program that I paid for before, it gave me all the content. Me being like super hungry to learn, I went through all that concert and then it was like, where do I start? Like, where do I put my first amount of attention at? So I found myself, when I had that, I was going every single loop. Like, it was like, oh, okay, this is SEO. Oh, okay, this is what you do. Oh, okay, what's this? What's that? So the funny thing, and I'll tell you people this, the reason I signed up for the social media MBA course at one point is because he gave me so much content over the phone and just in general that I was like, if he has this much content that he can give me for free, right? Like, what is the secret gems that he got that can like expand it even more? So I was like, you know what? I told him if he remembered, because if you remember at first, I said, hey, do you have a mentor program? And he's like, hey, I'm getting into it, but I do have a social media class coming up. And I gave him my word and said, I'm definitely going to sign up for it. And when I went to the social media MBA, the thing that they like expressed my growth in so many ways is that first is specific trainings each week. That's the first thing. Second thing is you're getting the tips and the tricks, and then you can actually implement those. So if you guys ever look at my profile, I implement week over week what I've learned that week, and it gives me enough time to do research. So I watch the videos probably 3 or 4 times, and then I get to do other research, and I know who to look at now to see if it's real or if it's false.
Yeah, so essentially what you're saying, for people who aren't in the program, it may not make sense, but I structured the program in that it forces you to take action. You can't access and just like binge watch everything and don't take action, because I believe even if you know a half of something, if you take action, you're going to be way further along than if you know everything and don't take any action. So the program is focused on results, and being an entrepreneur, you got a bunch of million ideas and cool things you want to do. I structure it in a way that you only are focusing on, I call it the snake that's going to kill you first, like only focusing on one thing at a time. And each week we're going to introduce another thing that adds to it. And so it forces you to like get results, is what I think I did.
Yeah.
And so the other thing is,
real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Not only does it like only focus you to do that, but it also allows you to be creative on that one thing. So if you had anything that you want to add to it, you can really focus on adding that key point to it. So it's definitely amazing.
Yeah, and so it sounds like I need to increase my prices, because the other more expensive program, you put that on the back burner and you use it my joint. Sounds like I need to raise my price. So you're in week 3 now, and you got results already. Brand new to entrepreneurship, never done social media before. I put the program in a way, price is going up. I put the program out in a way that forces you to take action. What kind of results have you gotten so far?
So far, let's say when I was on the call last time, I had 2 certified. Let's say 3. So I have 2 clients on a monthly retainer of 6 months. And I have a 3rd client that I'm doing a trial period with for 2 weeks. But I know I don't want to give you guys you got to pay him for the lessons. But I know I'm going to blow them out the water, and we're going to get them on a retainer too. It's going to be ridiculous. So I'll have 3 clients by week. Technically week 4, but week 3 I've already closed 3 clients, and I can't wait for the rest of the training.
And the interesting thing is the first 2 that you clicked. So 3 weeks, 3 clients, super dope, monthly retainers. One guy joined for 6 months, or locked in for 6 months. The other guy locked in for 3 months. About a week later, he hit you up and said, "Hey, can I change my contract from 3 months to 6 months?"
Yep. Off of one tip, off of one thing that I learned in the social media MBA, I was like, try this. They tried it. Instantly got a call back. Was like, hey, I know I signed up for 3. Give me 6. I need 6 months. If you can do that with one tip, I can only imagine what you can do with the rest.
And bro, that's one thing that you ain't even do that yet.
No, it was one thing, literally one thing, and I was like, okay, all right. I was like, my price is going up too, right? If I got to pay for the next class, I got to make your prices high.
But I mean, even as is, like I go through the pricing model, but even as is, this is pretty lucrative. Like you more than made back your money from my doing the course in 3 weeks. But even I know, like if you keep on track by the end of the year, it's gonna be extremely lucrative for you.
Yep.
Like, that's what's up.
I really think it is going to be extremely lucrative. Definitely, with a new sales process, a new process that I'm building for myself, I'm going to have like a well-oiled machine.
So the crazy thing is, you also revealed to me that you 3 weeks in, first company, got 6 month retainers, 3 clients already, and you also just moved into an office space. Congrats on that.
Thank you.
And it's crazy because 2 months ago you were getting kicked out of a spot. Now you have your own business with your own office, and you're hiring you got like teammates and like employees already.
Mm-hmm. So I tell people this has been a crazy experience. It definitely taught me about like just having a vision, right? And if you keep that vision and you add the new components, it can be amazing. Like I got let go, right, with nothing. Like I'm sitting here, like not living paycheck to paycheck, but sitting there like, what am I going to do with my next steps, right? Down to like making a phone call to people, asking them like, hey, what do we do? Like, how do I do this next step? And down to the point that I am now where having clients, I'm contracting out with some people to kind of help keep growing the business.
That's what's up. So kudos to you, bro. Like I only do so much, right? Like I could give you this framework, which I think is going to help you, which it sounds like you are, because you're like, the cool thing I like about your story is it's not like this is like business number 3 or 4. You literally just like starting off. And so you're a good example of like, you know, if you work hard, you show up. Like I look on my end, I see that you're watching the videos, you're doing the homework, you're reaching out to me, you're active. You show up on each and every office hour, you ask questions. So I see you're doing the work, but if you do the work, you're proof that if you do the work, you can actually do something with it and get something out of it. Brand new with no experience.
Yep. You know what? I told myself too, like one of the things that I pride myself on, I think I even brought this up last call. I was like, when I came into this situation, being in any field where you're an expert for so long, sometimes you carry that ego along with you. You're like, man, I know this. Like, hey, just teach me what I need to know. I'll go and get the next part. I told myself, like, coming into this, and when I take this course, and I'll promise anybody on this live that's going to take this course, like, go in there with the mindset that not only does he have something that you need to know, but rethink your mindset. Because in my mindset, I had to break it down to go back to a student mindset, but to understand at the end of this, I'm going to be an expert. And now I can talk to other people like I'm an expert because I know what I'm talking about and I know proven statistics.
That's what's up. And that's the crazy thing too. Like you've become an expert. Like you literally took a social media exam and got 100.
Yeah, like literally never took a social media class, like, well, not class, but never took a social media quiz ever. We talk about a great program called Icona Square Quiz. Took the test, 22 questions, scored 22, right? I was like, man, I need to frame this so I can go in there and be like, do you got this? I can do this.
That's what's up. And like, I just love this because one, you take action, and two, like you just touched on it, like you remain teachable, right? Like the first decision you got to make if like you have a life that you don't like, or you're trying to like grow your income, and like you got to realize, look, what you know is only going to take you so far.
Yep.
And what you got is only going to take you so far, and you need to find other people who can add to your repertoire. Like I said earlier, your income is only going to grow in linear comparison to your personal development. The minute you might get like a little spike, you may get lucky, but the minute you stop investing in yourself, like investing in yourself is the best ROI. Mm-hmm. And I've just been happy that I was able to provide some value to certain areas that you didn't know about, and how quickly you've like taken and run with it. So I appreciate that. That's what's up.
No problem, man. And I would say that anybody on here, man, just remember, like, it's and this is something that this program taught me, right? Like I was one of those, like, as long as I was good, I thought that was amazing. But something that he's touched me even on my personal life is like, it's about that team. Like to see how, if you look at any great organization or any great business or any great sports team, it's all about how everybody holds their weight and pulls their weight. So I would say with anything that you're building, just be consistent. Always say a student, and then, man, like I said, pay. I will promise you this: what he charges for his course, I've made that back already for one person. So when you hear that, it's like it does not make sense not to invest into him, because he has one. If you guys heard that story, one jewel, literally one jewel that he gave me, made me get everything back instantly. Like I'm sitting in an office that I rent now, when I used to sit into the office and pay nothing but got a check. Like, it's a different mindset, but I promise you guys, if you invest in him, he will change you guys' life night and day. And if not, come talk to me. I'll put you on my staff at this point.
If not, you hiring, right?
Yeah, man. I'm always looking for good talent, right?
If they don't want to invest in their dreams, you'll hire them to help you fulfill yours, right?
Hey, yeah, that's the way the world works. I promise you. I promise you that.
That's what's up. Just Mike had a couple of questions. Is there a budget you should bring to class to test ideas? So I won't even answer that. I'll let you answer it as a student. How much money did you, aside from investing in the course, how much money did you have to spend before you got your first, second, and third client?
Zero was the first client. Then, because my aspect on it was first, like, I was about to give them part of module 1, but I had to stop myself.
You could drop some gems if it makes your point better.
So Gamal always tells us he's looking for the way to get to our results with least resistance, right? That's something that he definitely puts a lot of emphasis on when we're taking this class, right? So you'll be surprised how some of the little stuff, like in your bio or in your page, the way it looks, right, that impacts what potential clients look at you and say. So a lot of that stuff takes no money. It just takes the knowledge to know what to do, right? So when you're getting those clients, they're first just looking at for your knowledge. It's like if you go into a mechanic shop, because I consider what I do a service-based business, right? If you go into a service-based business, you're not paying them. And now he's already signed up. So
side business, if you're brand new like Aaron, or if you're experienced and you're not consistently hitting 6 figures a year in your online business, I think this would be good for you. So yeah, I can hear you back now. So
okay.
They didn't hear the last part of that. So can you repeat just that last part? I'm not sure where you break up. I noticed you starting to break up when you just said, you shared one tip and you started talking about what that was in module 1 about small differences. So can you start from there?
So like I said, I had to rethink about it, because none of this, I promise you guys, is scripted. But when I was saying that the bio, right, like that was like, look the way your bio looks, look the way your Instagram story feed looks. Like, those are tips that are free, right? But they make the world to your potential clients or your potential audience, because that stuff they look at, it's like first look. Like, if I come there and I was in sales, like, one thing my old sales manager used to tell me was, if you go there with some shoes that look like they were busted, chances are you're going to be going home with those busted shoes, right? Because most people look at that first before they make a sale. So it's like, think of that as your Instagram or your social media bio. Like, make sure it fits you, right? Like, it should be almost like if you were going out and seeing somebody for the first time, how does it stack up? So I shared one tip, and that's the one thing I was saying, like the bio, the way your bio looks, think about it, look at some people that you wanted to ideally be like, and then examine your bio and see how far off you are. But I shared that one tip and made all my money back that I spent on the class plus more.
Yeah, and that's crazy too. So like we talk about the 6 steps you need to do to optimize your bio and how to go figure it out and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And so that was module 1. And so what happened was, to make it clear for people who understand, you share, like, people think, oh, it's just like some cool shit, it doesn't really do anything. No, that stuff actually makes impact, because that guy signed up for 3 months. You did that one thing that took you all of 15 minutes to do after you learned how to do it. Mm-hmm. And that guy actually saw results from that one thing, and then called you back and say, hey, I'd like to double my contract with you. I'd like to go from 3 to 6 months. One thing. You ain't even do anything else yet. We got 7 more modules of stuff to do.
Yep. And the crazy part about it, I hope you guys understand what we're saying. That was all. We're so far at 4 modules. That was 1 module worth of information that I didn't even give him that full module. and now he's already signed up. So, you know, picture when I start giving him the deep dive into this other stuff, you know, storyboards, everything like that. I might get him for a year and a half.
We didn't get into influencer marketing. We didn't get into affiliate marketing. We didn't get into advertising on Instagram. We didn't do any of that yet.
Nope. Just this is off of pure, just like the basics that, like the question was, this took no money at all, right? Like, I know the investment into learning the knowledge, but this took no money to do any of this stuff for him to get results instantly.
So yeah, for I share my philosophy with business with you guys, obviously, but for people on the call, like, I'm gonna answer two questions. One, why social media? And someone asked, is it good for certain people? So I'll ask that. So like, my philosophy on business is do the very least to get the most results. So I'm not trying to, that's why I'm showing a whole lot of free tips, a whole lot of stuff that's why social, like the videos are 5 to 10 minute videos. Like if you're used to something different, you might come on there and be like, I paid for a 5 to 10 minute video, and you might be upset, but it cuts out all the BS, all the fluff, and it's like right to the point. So I'm setting this stuff up to like make you watch it and quickly become an expert and quickly be able to implement that and go get results. So that's one thing. I'm real big on a path of least resistance and like doing the very little to create a lot. And the second piece is on someone asking, would this be good for a photographer or videographer?
Yes.
This is good for everybody. Like the thing about social media is right now, if you want to create wealth for yourself, you need to figure out how to get attention. Attention is the new commodity, right? And so more people are on social media. People are on average log into Instagram 10 to 15 times a day. More people are on social media than they are listening to radio, than they are watching cable television. And so that like social media is the new media. Like so your Instagram and your phone is the new TV and radio. So all the millions and billions of dollars that people are spending, you think about people spending $1 million, a couple of seconds on Super Bowl ads. Like now you have the power to create that type of awareness where you can post something and to get thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people to see your content. So regardless of any business you're in, if no one knows about you, you're not going to do well. So being able to get the attention of your ideal customer, that's the first part. So the course breaks down in like two parts, like revenue creation, which is like figuring out who your customer is, what your problem is that you're going to solve, how to solve it, how to get in front of your people. That's the first step. The second step is revenue multiplication. That's when you got that stuff locked in, and now you're creating sales funnels. Now you're trying to scale. Now you're doing ads. Now you're doing all this stuff to go from getting your stuff in front of 10,000 people a day to like 100,000 people a day. So like, and that's been my philosophy for all businesses that I've started. I've started an e-commerce business. Same thing. Like we get hit the ground running, and one of our videos has 11 million views on Facebook now. Like a ton of attention. We get worldwide attention. My social media advertising business, that's obviously done really well. And then I sold info products earlier, and that generated me 7 figures online. All that's about attention. And the easiest way to get attention is figuring out social media. And the easiest social media platform to figure it out on is Instagram. Like you don't need any amount of money. You don't need to spend any money on ads. All you need to do is learn the knowledge and go apply it. And so I am the primary people who are signing up are people who want to start a side business, who want to learn this knowledge, become experts, and then offer that for a service to other people like what Aaron is doing. The second people are people who already have a business. If you're selling an info product or if you have a services business that you would like to be able to market yourself. So instead of hiring an Aaron, you know all the skills that you need to do to get your attention and to get in front of your clients. So that's my takes on it. I don't know if you had some ideas as well about whether this is good, like who this is good for, who this is bad for.
To be honest with you, I mean, this course in this field is good for everybody because, like, it's one key point that I want to touch on. Something that he just mentioned is attention, right? And if you have somebody's attention, like that's what it taught me to learn. Like I had to get their attention, and then once I got their attention, I was able to make the sale, right? Like, and if anybody ever sold one product or anything, or they know, or you're struggling to sell one product, once you get into that person's attention feed, you can have anything that they have because now they're looking at you like, oh, that's so cool. What else do they offer? What else do they do? What else do they hit at? And they want to buy from you. You just got to put yourself to be the center of their attention for at least a couple minutes, and then they're hooked.
Absolutely. So a couple of other questions that I'd like you to answer.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars to get the ball rolling. This is the easiest way. No out of pocket expense that you need to do. So the courses to get your side business booming, so to speak. That's what I've been needing to work on. Okay, so someone said, Heaven Arcade just said they'd like to start a side business and to get more eyes on their work, and that eventually want to be able to quit their day job and work as a creative. So any thoughts or feedback on that from your perspective, someone who just went from a 9 to 5 to where you are
Yeah,
now?
I think I kind of consider myself a creative too, because that graphic design pass that I had that I use. I would tell you this, man. Like, the first thing is that's beautiful, definitely from my mindset as a creative. When I hear that is, remember, if you brand yourself as a creative, you can think outside the box, find different ideas, right? But what the problem that I had as a creative is, I'll sometimes go so far outside the box that I wouldn't really look at logic. So what this course like will help you to do is basically you will learn the conventional tips and then add your creative mind, the creative coloring, the creative fonts, and to keep it more structured, and you'll blow up. And one thing that I would tell you is, like, if you go back to the beginning of the call, I was let go from my job, right? And the way that I turned that around was I used, right, the knowledge that Gamal gave me, right? And I used that to actually target a certain type of audience. So that's one tip that I will give you, and that came from the class. Look at what your target audience is, and at least start brainstorming where their attention lies. So when you do invest in this class, or when you do start to get out there and want to make the move for the side business to turn to your main business, you know where your people are, because that is the most crucial part that it took me to learn, is where do the people that I want to do or that I want to sell to, where are they located at? Where are they sitting at? Where are they eating at? Where are they talking at? What are they reading? Like, that's the information that this class opened me up to be able to dive farther in, because there's not a lot of people, and I'm not trying to toot my own, but there's not a lot of people that say they can find clients, that quick without knowing the information.
So another objection that I hear people saying is, they don't have a lot of followers. They don't think they can get that result. So me personally, I'm not cool. I'm not popular on Instagram. I've made a ton of money with, like, I think I had 1,200 followers all my life. I just started growing my followers just to prove a point to someone else that I can do it really quickly. So my mentor has like 500 followers online. Makes 7 to 8 figures every single year. How many followers does your page have? You picked up 3 clients and 3 social media clients in 3 weeks on multiple month contracts, 2 of them for 6 months. Surely you've got a bunch of followers, right? How many followers do you have?
Most of you guys on this call probably had more followers than me, right? Right. One thing I told Gamal is, it was like, to be funny that I'm in the social media field now. I was like, hey, I don't do it. I'll probably post a picture or a trip there or something, right? And I wasn't on there. Like, I think when I started out, I was at probably 158 followers, right? And now, even at this point, I have 411 followers, right? And then even from that point, I want to bring on something that, we didn't even talk about in the class yet, but we talked about it at the BYOB event. You actually talked about this, is small niche communities, right? Like, some people think, oh, the big person that's out there, 100K followers, they're making so much money. It's some smaller groups that are crushing them paycheck-wise, are crushing them, and you would never believe it, because in your eyes, you're looking at it like, oh, they got 100K, they must be successful. But that guy with 5K, but actually is using it and not buying it and actually growing from the ground up, is destroying that person. So, I mean, one thing that I would tell you is, I only had 488 followers, right? But I promise you, like, I can show you checks that I picked up. That's 3 clients that's in the bag.
So
it's not all about the number.
Not only that, so now you got all 500 followers. So in 3 weeks, you like tripled your followers. But at this time, when you were getting your clients, you only had 150 followers. That's like
correct,
nothing, like, relatively speaking, right? So what you know now. No. So 150 followers. How long have you had that page for?
Man, you hit me in a juggernaut with that one. It's probably been 2-3 years, probably. If that, so, it wasn't really active.
So 2-3 years, your page, you had 150 followers in 2-3 years. You finally figured out a couple of things. One, you picked up 3 paid clients, paying you good money, and we won't get into the how much. And then 2, you've been able to triple your followers. So it took you 2 years to get your followers to someplace, and in 3 weeks, you tripled your followers.
Yes. And one thing I want to say is for that is something that you tied it back to earlier. It was the focus. Like literally, like when I took this course, or while I'm taking this course, these weeks just allowed me to focus on what the hot topic was and how was I branching out to that hot topic to develop it to become a big moment for myself.
That's what's up. Well, I really, really appreciate everything. I don't see any additional questions. How can people find you? And if they need your help, if they want to hire you, how can they reach out to you to get some help?
I will put it in the comments, my Instagram tag, but it's literally